Hi all, welcome to Salesforce in 5 minutes. In this video, we are going to understand events inside the triggers. But before getting started, if you feel my videos are helpful, I request you to please like this video and subscribe to my channel. So even before going to the events, we need to understand what are triggers and why do we use triggers in certain scenarios. So I've created a detailed video why to use triggers and when to use triggers in Apex in a Salesforce. I've created a video. I'll provide the link in the description. But right now, in very simple terms, triggers is nothing but an coding language with the help of which you can perform automation. Now, what do I mean by that is let's consider this is our Salesforce org, right? This is our Salesforce org. This is a record, let's say account record, right? This is an account record, so I am filling up the form. As soon as I click on the new button of the account, I'm filling up the form and I'm inserting some record inside Salesforce. And then inside Salesforce I have written a script which is a trigger, basically a trigger, right? It's a trigger, and as the trigger says that when an account is inserted, insert the contact in Salesforce as well. So because of this trigger, what is happening is when account is inserted, contact is also getting inserted. So as soon as the account hits the Salesforce org, automatically contact also gets inserted. So this is what the trigger is used for if you want to achieve such kind of automation. So now let's move on to the next part. What exactly are events? What are the different types of the events, and when do we use event and when do we use which events? So events and triggers are nothing but there are two types of events specifically. There is before events and after events. Why these events are used for? These events are specifically used to have more control over the code. Okay, if you have to have more control over the functionality or more control over the automation, that's where you have to use events. Now there are two types of the events I have specified already: after events and before events. So let's understand first of all before events. Before events are nothing but used when you have to perform an automation before the record is inserted to your Salesforce org. What do I mean by that is if I go to an account, right? If I go to any of the account record right now, okay, I think so. I clicked on account. Let's say, let's go to account brand, no issues. And as soon as you go to this account brand, there is a new button at the right side, right? I'm going to click that new button. A form is going to appear where I'm going to be able to insert the records inside my Salesforce org. So right now, if you see, consider this as an account branch right now. Okay, I am inserting some details inside it, right? For video account one. Okay, so I'm inserting some records inside it, and as soon as I click on save, before hitting the Salesforce org, okay, before it goes and inserts inside Salesforce, before it inserts inside the Salesforce org, if you want to perform an automation, that's where you use before events. Let's consider it with a real-time example. Let's say you have a chocolate, right? You have a chocolate. Now, what you want to do is before it inserts, let's say your mouth is nothing but a Salesforce org itself, and teeth and tongues are different objects, and chocolate is an account object right now, which we are considering, right? So what happens is, let's say this chocolate you are taking and you are putting it inside your mouth, which is similar to that of a record is getting inserted inside your Salesforce app. Now, before you eat that chocolate, if you want to remove the wrapper, or if you want to do not remove the wrapper, or if you want to remove the partial wrapper, all these kinds of automations, if you have to perform, if you want to perform it before it inserts inside your mouth, that's where you use before triggers. Or in Salesforce term, before the records get inserted inside your Salesforce org, if you want to perform automation, that's where you use before triggers in Salesforce. Second one is nothing but after triggers in Salesforce. Now, once the record is inserted inside your Salesforce, now if I click on save, after the record is saved successfully inside your Salesforce org, only after that, what's going to happen is that contact is going to get inserted because our trigger is respective to that. So what's happening is whenever the account is inserted, after the account is inserted, only then the contact will also get inserted. So that's what the automation has been achieved, right? So this way you use after triggers in Salesforce. Once the record is successfully inserted inside your Salesforce, only then you have to perform an automation. That's where you use after triggers in Salesforce. Now let's consider it with a real-time example again, that you have a chocolate, right? You have a chocolate. Now you want to eat that chocolate. After you eat that chocolate, if you have to perform some operations like you have to just swallow it the chocolate, or you just want to chew the chocolate, or etc etc, but it can happen only once the chocolate has been eaten by you or the record has been inserted inside the Salesforce. Okay, if you have to perform the operations after the record has been inserted in the Salesforce org, That's where you use after triggers in Salesforce. Now, when to use before triggers, like in trigger in coding terms, when to use before triggers and when to use after triggers, which we are going to understand in the next video, in the upcoming video. If you found this video helpful of after event or events in triggers, I request you to please like this video and subscribe to my channel.